Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Bertoch, your incredibly handsome and wonderfully bearded science teacher. In this video, we're going to be learning about mountain formation and three main ways that mountains are formed. The Earth is constantly in change. It's constantly changing its shape and form. And one very important way that it is changing all the time is through the creation, the formation of mountains. Right now, as you sit wherever you are sitting watching this video, there are mountains forming. There are mountains crinkling up, which is in fact not a word, all over the world. These crinkles, what would be a better word for crinkle? I don't know. Crunches, these folds, these dents in the Earth's surface, they are forming all over right now. Okay, for example, in the Himalaya Mountains, which is in Asia, India and Asia are crashing into each other. And literally right now, as we speak, the Himalayan mountains are getting bigger. Likewise, the Rocky Mountains and the the Andes in South America, which are part of the same technically mountain chain, they're getting bigger. Okay. Well, why? What is causing that to happen? Pray tell. Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So there are three ways, main ways. There are some other ways as well, but three main ways that mountains form. In another video, we talk about plate tectonics, and that would be a good video to watch. You don't have to, but it would be a good video to watch before this one to help you understand what plates are. But basically, the Earth is broken up into many plates, which we call tectonic plates. And these plates are moving around all of the time from one place to another. And sometimes when they crash into each other, sometimes one will go underneath the other one, and I talk about why in the plate tectonic video, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they crash into each other, literally, and one of the plates is like, dude, I was here first, and the other plate is like, I don't care. And both of them refuse to get out of the way. Neither of them are very polite, so they just keep going forward, and they crash into each other. And you can imagine a car, or actually two cars, doing exactly that, because sometimes people are jerks when they're driving, right? So you can imagine them honking at each other and like, get out of my way. No, you get out of my way. And then they slowly drive into each other. And what happens to the hoods of their cars? They become, to use my excellent word, they become crankled up. Okay, they become crunched up. They fold. They form mountains. And that's what happens. That is one way that mountains form, is by two tectonic plates crashing into each other, and they fold up and they crunch up and they become piles of rubble, which is what a mountain is. Okay, but it doesn't happen fast. It happens really slow. We're talking like a centimeter of growth per year. But over tens of millions of years, that adds up, and that becomes a ginormous mountain. Okay. A second way that mountains form, and this is happening right now as well in the western United States, is that a single tectonic plate will actually stretch out. So imagine I take a big sheet of rubber. Okay, could be, I don't know, it could be a balloon that I cut apart and make a big flat sheet of rubber. And imagine that I put some sand on top of it, a thin layer of sand, and I stretch that sheet of rubber out. Well, what's going to happen to the sand? Okay, it was flat, but as I stretch it out, you can imagine in your mind what's going to happen. I'm going to get some places where the sand is higher and some places where the sand is lower. And that is another way that mountains form. Okay, because I'm going to go out now in that area, and right now in the western United States, for example, which has almost doubled in length over the last 100 million years or so, as it has been stretched apart, it's gotten much wider. And so I have some places where I have mountains, those are the clumps of dirt, and some places where I have valleys where it's a little bit lower because I have less dirt there. Okay, so we have horsts and grabens. Horsts are where it's higher, and grabens are where it is lower. Hooray! And in the western United States, I have valley after valley and mountain after mountain. It goes on for hundreds of miles. It starts right along the Rocky Mountains, right next to the Wasatch Front, and it continues out to the Cascade Mountain Range. And speaking of the Cascade Mountain Range, that is the third type of mountain that form. Okay, the Cascade Mountains did not form. By the way, the Cascade Mountain Range is a mountain range that runs through Washington and Oregon and California, right along the coast of the United States. And it didn't form either of the two ways I've already talked about. It is not the result of plates crashing into each other, and it is not the result of a plate stretching out. The Cascade Mountains formed a totally different way, the third way, which is through volcanic activity. And this one you can understand, right? A volcano forms, lava, magma squeezes up through the ground, piles up onto the surface, and forms a mountain. And in the case of the Cascade Mountain Range, it's several volcanoes have formed, one after the other in succession, forming an entire mountain range. I mean, there's Mount Shasta and Mount St. Helens and Mount Hood and, several others, dozens and dozens of volcanoes, many of them active, but many of them not, many of them extinct. But these volcanoes formed an entire mountain range. So those are the three main ways that mountain ranges form. You have when mountains crash into each other, or two plates crash into each other, and form a mountain. You have when a single plate stretches apart and pulls the dirt apart and leaves clumps of dirt and horsts and leaves empty valleys in other places. And you have a mountain range built by magma squeezing up from the Earth's mantle and piling up on the surface of the Earth. Hi guys, thanks for watching my video. These rambling science videos where I go unscripted and just kind of barf up all the science knowledge out of my head are part of a series that go along with an online class that I teach, which you can sign up for if you go to handsomescienceteacher.com. I also have a whole bunch of free resources for homeschoolers. I have hundreds of articles on every topic that covers your entire science curriculum from 5th through 8th grade. I have online games and quizzes, all curated and written by this handsome guy, a science teacher with, three degrees, but 2 of them are in science. So it's targeted right to and directly to your science students. So sign up, subscribe to the channel, and I release lots of videos. Also, in addition to these ones, lots of little short videos that are like 2 minutes long that cover science topics. Those ones you don't get to see my handsome face, but they're still good videos and they're much more targeted, and those ones are scripted, so you don't have to hear me like you are right now going blah blah blah. The end. Subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.